Marcus was the prison bully. Everyone was scared of her. She saw a quiet black inmate sitting alone and thought, easy target. She walked up and shoved her, but the girl didn't scream or fall. She moved fast, almost like lightning. Marcus stumbled and hit the ground. The yard went silent. Everyone froze. Marcus's eyes were wide. She wasn't weak. She wasn't scared. She was trained, deadly, and Marcus had just made a huge mistake. Before we see what happens next in the prison yard, hit subscribe and stay with us, because you won't believe how the quiet inmate turns the tables. Her name was Kara Johnson. To most, she was just another face in the sea of gray jumpsuits, blending into the background with a calm, almost invisible presence. She moved quietly along the hallways, never speaking unless spoken to, never drawing attention. Guards passed her without a second glance. Inmates dismissed her as harmless, assuming she was just another timid girl who knew her place. That was exactly how Kara liked it. Survival in this place didn't require strength. It required invisibility, patience, and careful observation. Kara's past was a carefully buried secret. She had been trained in the art of combat, strategic thinking, and psychological manipulation long before she had been sent here. Her calm demeanor was not weakness. It was control, patience, and precision. Every gesture, every glance, every word was intentional. She had learned that the right timing, even in silence, could give her the upper hand in the most dangerous situations. But no one in the prison knew this. Not the guards, not the inmates, not Marcus. The prison itself was a labyrinth of hierarchies. Power was claimed not by law, but by fear, intimidation, and control. Marcus had claimed the yard as her domain. She ruled through aggression, breaking down anyone who dared to speak or challenge her. Kara had watched her from the sidelines, observing every shove, every threat, every trembling new inmate. She had memorized the way Marcus walked, laughed, and projected dominance, and she had waited, silently, patiently, for the right moment to show that appearances could be deadly deceiving. That ordinary Tuesday, the yard seemed more charged than usual. The sun glared down through the barbed wire, casting sharp shadows on the cracked concrete. Inmates lounged, whispered, and tested each other's limits, but all attention shifted when Marcus's eyes landed on Kara. She was sitting alone on a weathered bench, hands folded neatly in her lap, posture calm and unreadable. A slow, cruel smile spread across Marcus's face. "You lookin' lost, girl." She called. Kara didn't flinch. She didn't even look up. The silence between them was heavy, tense, electric. Marcus's shadow fell over her like a storm cloud. She leaned in close, her breath heavy with the smell of cheap cologne, mixing with the faint metallic scent of the prison yard. "Don't ignore me. You got a problem with me, little shadow," she hissed, shoving Kara's shoulder hard enough to rock the bench. Nearby inmates chuckled, sensing a show, some nudging each other in anticipation. Kara exhaled slowly, the sound calm and controlled. "No, ma'am." "I keep to myself," she said softly. Her voice was quiet, almost musical, but it carried authority, enough to make Marcus pause for just a fraction of a second. That fraction would change everything. Marcus's expression hardened. She believed fear was the ultimate currency, and she would collect it. Ruthlessly, she grabbed Kara's arm, yanking her to her feet. "Keep to yourself. You think I don't see you. I see you. You're hiding because you're scared, ain't you?" Her grip was firm, almost painful. Kara flinched slightly, but it was only a show. Inside, her mind was racing, calculating distance, weight, leverage, timing. The crowd began to gather, forming a rough circle. Whispers and bets filled the air. Who would win this confrontation? The notorious Marcus or the quiet girl no one had paid attention to? Marcus laughed low and menacingly, her eyes glinting with cruelty. "I'm gonna teach you how things work around here, little shadow." Kara didn't respond with anger. She didn't panic. Every muscle, every nerve, every breath was deliberate. Years of survival, strategy, and lethal training kicked in instantly. Marcus's overconfidence was visible in every step, every gesture. She wasn't just a bully. She was reckless, predictable, and vulnerable if you knew where to look. Marcus shoved Kara again, this time harder, expecting a reaction. Kara allowed herself to stumble slightly, eyes locked on Marcus's, drawing her in, luring her with an illusion of weakness. Then, in a flash, she moved. A seamless pivot, a subtle shift in weight, and Marcus's momentum betrayed her. She lost balance, stumbled backward, and crashed into the bench. With a loud, jarring noise, the crowd froze. Gasps and murmurs filled the yard. What the? Someone whispered, their eyes wide with shock. Kara stood calm, her breathing steady. She didn't scream. She didn't strike aggressively. Every step, every motion radiated control. Marcus scrambled, trying to regain dominance, but Kara's every counter was precise, measured, impossible to anticipate. The quiet one had become the storm. Back off, Kara said, her voice low but commanding, ringing through the yard. Marcus froze mid-step, tension thickening the air. Guards glanced up from their posts, initially hesitant, unsure if intervention was needed. Marcus's face twisted in fury. "You little," she began, but Kara stepped closer, unflinching, radiating presence and authority. The yard seemed to shrink around them. Every inmate, every whisper, every cautious step became irrelevant. They could feel it. Kara's quiet power, her lethal calm, the certainty that she would not be broken. It hit Marcus suddenly. This wasn't just a strong girl or a fast one. She was deadly in ways Marcus had never imagined. Every ounce of fear she had hidden was now radiating outward, commanding silence, respect, and awe. Marcus's ego, built on intimidation, faltered, replaced by a creeping realization. She had chosen the wrong person to bully. Marcus tried to regain control, lunging for a final shove. But Kara anticipated it. Fluid, almost effortless, she sidestepped, using Marcus's own momentum against her. Marcus fell hard onto the concrete, a sharp crack echoing through the yard. The sound froze everyone. Murmurs stopped. Guards remained uncertain, caught between protocol and the awe-inspiring scene before them. Marcus scrambled on the ground. Why? Died and disbelieving. What are you? She stammered. Kara knelt beside her, gaze cold and unwavering. You don't pick on the quiet ones, she said simply. No anger, no threat, just truth. It sank deeper than fear, deeper than anger. She didn't strike again. She didn't need to. The demonstration was psychological, surgical, perfect. Marcus's aura of invincibility crumbled in silence, piece by piece, as the yard watched in astonishment. Inmates stared. Why? Died. Marcus, the feared tyrant, lay trembling, not from pain, but from the shocking realization that she had underestimated someone she assumed weak. Kara's past, her lethal training, the discipline that had kept her alive long before the prison walls confined her. Everything became clear without a single confession. She had turned the tables through skill, patience, and control. The guards finally stepped in, separating them, but it was almost ceremonial. The yard had changed, power had shifted, and respect had been claimed, not by violence, but by control, mastery, and unshakable presence. After that day, the yard changed. Marcus no longer ruled through intimidation. She approached others cautiously, avoided unnecessary confrontations, and never again picked on the quiet ones. Kara returned to her bench, quietly blending in, keeping her head down, but the fear and respect she had earned lingered everywhere. Her story spread, whispered from cell to cell, not as a tale of vengeance, but as a lesson in awareness, restraint, and the hidden power of the underestimated. Inmates who once mocked or ignored her now watched quietly, learning to value patience and composure over brash aggression. Strength didn't need to roar. It could be silent, calculated, and lethal, but always measured. Even the guards noticed. Incidents of violence in the block dropped. Quiet inmates, inspired by Kara, found courage in her example. Respect became the currency, replacing fear. Her lesson was clear. Never underestimate someone just because they appear small, silent, or harmless. True power often hides behind calm eyes. In the end, it wasn't about a fight. It was about resilience, self-control, and the undeniable truth that every person carries unseen strength. Marcus carried the lesson with her forever. Quiet people are not always harmless. Some have survived far worse, and they will not be ignored. And in the silence of the yard, one truth rang louder than any threat. Never underestimate the power of a quiet soul.